Last time I played the bugle, I was at the Orchestra in 1927. They must have liked me because here it is only 53 years later. I've been in show business practically all of my life. I've done everything. Played the front of the horse, the back end of the horse. I did a roller skating act. I was a singer, a dancer, a straight man, a monologist. You name it, and I tried. And then at the age of 79, I became a dramatic actor. And now at 84, I'm a country singer. Believe me, it wasn't easy to become a country singer. I had to give up skiing. But I found out that acting is the easiest thing I've ever done. Let's say I'm supposed to do a scene where I knock on somebody's door and the man says, "Come in." If I go in, that's good acting. He says, "Come in," and I stay out in the hall, that's bad acting. I always go in, I'm a good actor. Eddie Youngman has been standing out in the hall now for 4 years. And they say the toughest thing about acting is to be able to laugh and be able to cry. Well, not for me. The director wants me to cry, I think of my sex life. He wants me to laugh, I think of my sex life. I must be a great actor because this morning after taking a shower, I took a look at myself in the mirror and I laughed and cried at the same time. I don't know what it is, but I seem to lose something with my clothes off. Phyllis Diller told me she has the same problem. I just finished another movie. It's a sequel to Oh God, and I'm playing God again. I have to get written permission from Danny Thomas. And I'm being sued by Charlton Heston. And every time I run into Billy Graham, he steps on my foot. But the nice thing about playing God is that nobody's ever seen him, so they can't tell whether I'm good or bad. You know, they're talking about doing a picture of my life. Hope they do it fast so I can see it. There's only one thing holding it back. They're waiting for some actor to get old enough to play me. Well, I want you to sit back and relax because you're in for an exciting evening. I'm going to sing. I'm going to sing 8 songs. If you like them, I'll sing 9. If you don't like them, I'll sing 38. All ballads. I'll sing them slow and I'll sustain the last note. I got so many great songs, I don't know which one to open with. Let me tell you something about an opening song. It's very important to choose the right one. You pick out the right song, you've got a great opening. And when you're on the stage, all you need is a great opening and a great finish. Sometimes my opening song is so great, people think it's my finish. And sometimes it is. Okay, fellas, let's try by a ring, but just the piano. And then if I like it, I'll add the rest of the musicians. 40. I love to call you Rose, dear, but roses fade away. Roses die when wintertime appears. I love to call you Daisy, but daisies always tell what sweethearts like to whisper in your ear. I love to call you honey when honey runs away. I'm much for a name I claim mine. And if I called you buttercup, the dandelions would eat you off. It's pretty, but it's not an open song. Let's try come back. Maybe that'll do it. I'll come back when the birds make love. cousin of mine. That's enough of that. Well, I think I got it. Good night, little girl. Good night. Name that one. Oh, good night, little girl. Good night. I hope that you get home all right. The martinis were fine and your kisses are mine. But I would have by midnight to surely be mine. I was wrong, little girl. I was wrong. Run along, little girl. Run along. If I couldn't win you at all, Jim, I'd say you good night. Good night. I've been singing all my life. I remember the day I was born. The doctor kept slapping me, but I wouldn't stop singing. Finally put me in the incubator and turned off the heat. It's a good thing I was smoking a cigar out of the and I'm still smoking. I can't talk unless I smoke. Seeing me without a cigar was like Jar Jar Gabor blushing on one of the wedding nights. I smoke between 50 and 20 cigars a day. Well, at my age, I got a whole lot of something. You know, I get out of that is when people always say the same thing. Jordan, why do you go out with young girls? Well, I went out with young girls when I was 18. I liked them then. Why shouldn't I like them? And I don't always go out with young girls. Sometimes I stay home with them. Look, I go out with women my age, but there are no women my age. So I'm stuck with all these young, beautiful kids. I remember I had a date with a girl about 20, so I showered and shaved and put on some cologne and a nice suit and shirt and tie. I combed my hair before I put it on. I looked in the mirror, I looked so good, I said, that girl was too old. When a girl gets out with me, she's got a lot to look forward to. After all, I've been warming up for 64 years. And I always take them to a good restaurant. I managed to get a table in a nice quiet corner so they can do their homework. And if they get all A's, I take them out again. If they flunk, I take out their mothers. And we usually go to my place after dinner. A couple of drinks, and I send them my piano player. I sing them a few songs, I go to bed, my piano player takes them home. You know, I've outlived 3 of my piano players. Here I am tearing myself down again, believe me, there's a thing I can't do now that I didn't do when I was 18. I was pretty pathetic when I was 18. This might be my opening song. Let's try it. Oh, little Johnny Warner was sitting in the corner of a swell cafe, eating his heart away because he had no girl. That sounds like an opening song. At another table sat a girl and made one with a fellow who Johnny knew his head began to roll. Are you ready, Paul? Little Johnny sighed. Hey, but Johnny cried, he hollered. Where did you get that girl? You lucky devil. Where did you get that girl? Tell me I'm loving. Hey, God, sister, leave me to a Mr. G. I wish that I had a girl like a brother. Prince our mother, and if you got another, take her home to mother. Oh, where did you get that? That's the song. Still not the right, it's still not exciting enough. You know, when I started the show business, I was a small-time vaudeville actor. I played nothing but little broken down plays. And when I was 18, my name was Harry Pierce. I did a singing act. And nobody liked me singing. I got so used to being disliked that I thought I was doing well. My billing was Harry Pierce, a singer from Rhode Island, an actor of Providence. And somehow I was booked into the Gem Theater on Houston Street in the Lower East Side of New York. I got $15 for 3 days, $5 a day, and the contract had no cancellation clause in it. See, in those days, they could cancel me after the first performance. And after the matinee, the manager was waiting for me in the wings of the "Look, kid," he says, "that acting costume clothes might better. You're booked here for 3 days for $15. Here's the $15 gone." I said, "No, I'm booked for 3 days. I'm going to play the 3 days." He said, "I'll give you $20 gone." I said, "No, you didn't like my first show. My second show, I'll change my songs. I'll open a Tiger Girl, and then I'll sing in the Heart of a Cherry. And then I'll do my big number. I'll be waiting for you, Bill, when you come back to San Juan Hill." He said, "I'll make it $25. I said, "No, I'm staying. I'm a performer. I've even got cards printed." He says, "Okay, kid, you can stay, but give me back your key to the men's room." Which I did. That's where I was dressing. Let me tell you something. When you don't go to the men's room for 3 days, it doesn't help you sing. After the second day, I didn't dare to do my yodeling finish. Then I changed my name to Jack Garfield and became a dancer. But I was sort of a right-legged dancer. I could tap with my right foot, but my left foot wanted me to go into some other business. And unfortunately, the audience agreed with my left foot. Well, I tried everything. I finally decided to become a straight man because the straight man does nothing. He just repeats questions. The comedian or the comedian will ask the question. And as a straight man, all I had to do was repeat the question, but they get laughs on show business. So I met this beautiful girl, her name was Lily Delight. I said, "Would you like to do an act with me?" She said, "Sure," and invited me up to her apartment. When I got there, she turned down the lights, put on soft music, got into a black necklace. She said, "How would you like to have a drink?" Well, I figured here's my chance to see if I can make it as a straight man, so I repeated the question. And she had a drink. And she said, "Would you like to have another one?" And I repeated, "Would you like to have another one?" And she had another one. And after 5 or 6 drinks, she got stoned. And she said, "Why don't we go in the bedroom?" And I said, "Why don't we go in the bedroom?" She said, "Aren't you going to turn out the lights?" I said, "Aren't you going to turn out?" She turned out the lights, so I went home. Well, the girl didn't get no laugh, so I left. That was a lot of years ago, and I still can't figure out what made that girl think she was funny. Then I did them. In those days, I was so bad that I had to change my name practically every week. I couldn't get a job with the same name twice. I remember sitting in a small-time booking office, and this manager came in instead of manager. He said, "Where can I find Maurice Valenti?" I said, "I'm Maurice Valenti. I thought I was." And your contract to play the Merchant Theater in Brooklyn, the contract said Maurice Valenti and his Wonder Dog. So I signed it. I'd do anything to stay job. The next day I got myself a half a pound of liver and I caught myself a dog. I went to the Merchant Theater in Brooklyn to do my act. I walked out on the stage with a dog under my arm. I stood there and sang my songs. In the middle of my leg song, the dog did his act. Twice. It ruined my finish. I couldn't do my singing. Then I worked with the seal. Captain Betts and Flipper. I was Captain Betts. And with the seal, you do absolutely nothing. After each drink, you just throw the seal a piece of fish. And we were booked into the Dewey Theater, Flipper and I. And I had a date that night with a very pretty little girl, Betty McGrath. She was in show business too, and I was ashamed to meet her. Because after you do 4 shows a day with your pockets full of fish, you don't smell too good. But I met her and she never noticed it because she was doing an act with Things and Rules. In fact, she complimented me on my aftershave lotion. Then I did a Spanish dancing act, Jose and Dolores. I was Jose. Now, if I said this was the worst act in the world, I'd be lying. We weren't that good. I must tell you how we dressed. I bought my outfit at a place called Gutenberg's that specialized in second-hand costumes. It was a gaucho hat, a ruffled shirt, a bolero jacket, black velvet pants, and flamenco boots. I bought the whole thing for $17. Would have cost $22.50, but the bolero jacket had a bullet hole in the back. And the velvet pants were so big on me that I had to wear a red sash to hold them up. In that outfit, I looked like the fellow who sweeps up after a bullfight. Or like something he swept up. I must tell you about Dolores. Dolores was a pretty girl except for one thing. She was very bow-legged. Every time she sat down, she looked like somebody stole her cello. From here up, she was beautiful. From here down, she looked like the entrance to a subway. Now, Dolores was very self-conscious about her legs. So she had her costume made with a full skirt that came clear down to the floor. She was a great dancer, but nobody knew it. The audience were always confused. They knew she was doing something under that dress. I remember during one performance, a fellow hollered up. He said, "Let me see your legs." So not to embarrass Dolores, I pulled up my pants and showed her. He said, "No, I want the girl to do it." I said, "Why should she do it to my pants?" And aside from that full skirt, Dolores wore a big, heavy Spanish comb stuck in her hair, which pressed on a nerve in the back of her head and made her eyes bulge out. And our first number was a fast Spanish fandango. And when we opened it, the colonial theater was connected. You went into this fast number. One of Dolores' shoulder straps broke and the left side of the dress fell down. And one of her things kept flapping. I thought it was the audience applauding. Bows. When I saw what it was, I got so nervous that my sash broke and I lost my breath. And Dolores got so nervous that the comb popped out of her head and her eyes closed. Well, there we were. Dolores was one of the things still applauding her eyes. And me with a bullet hole in the back of my head. I was kidding. We didn't look neat. Not only canceled us after that matinee, they canceled Schenectady. Anyway, I kept changing names and partners until I was 27 years old. And then I started to play some good theater. Some people discovered I had a good talent. And they were right. I was married to them for 38 years. Walked out on the stage and I would say to Gracie, "How is your brother?" And she'd talk for 17 minutes and that's how we became a star. And believe me, it wasn't easy. Sometimes I forgot to say, "Gracie, how's your brother?" But look here, I'm talking, I still haven't found an opening song. Here's a song, it's not an opening song, this is out of my album. And I went to Nashville, made an album. That's right. Walked into the studio for me, get this. They had 32 violins, 6 guitars, piano, bass, and drums, and 8 backup singers. With all that help, they didn't need me. They could have used Kenny Rogers. But that's where all the money is. When I left the studio, there were 8 Rolls Royces parked outside, and they belonged to the backup singers. Well, anyway, here's the song, and I hope you like it. Let's do it, hold on. Okay. Come by to wish me
He needed a motivation for everything he did. He wouldn't move unless he knew why he was moving. And he had to do a scene where he had to go to the bathroom. And he said to Martin Brest, he says, why am I going to the bathroom? Martin Brest for the same thing. He said, everybody goes to the bathroom. He said, yeah, but I want to know why. And Martin just looked at him and said, well, maybe the scene before that you had breakfast. He said, did I have a big breakfast or a small breakfast? And Martin Brest was looking at him. He said, what difference does that make? He said, I want to know how long to stay in the bathroom. Martin Brest says, I just decided you're not going to use the bathroom. He said, why am I not going to use the bathroom? He said, because you won't be able to get in because the actor is taking your place will be in there. That was the end of the method actor. But then on, I didn't take any chances. Whenever Martin Brest looked at me, I went to the bathroom. And we shot that picture in New York City last summer. And while we were there, I went to the Friars Club one Saturday, and I had lunch with Henny Youngman and Georgie Jessup. And I took a look at the three of us, and believe me, we didn't look like the Bee Gees. We looked more like three rusty robots left over from Star Wars. And then Rudy Valley came over and joined us. That didn't help our rating. I said, fellas, we're in the wrong end of show business. The kids nowadays have got it made. With their albums and their concerts, they make a fortune. I said, they give a concert every Sunday in Central Park and work for 60,000 to 70,000 people. Let's go there tomorrow. Look at that. Maybe some of that young talent can rub off on us. And maybe some of what we got might rub off on them. That is, if it doesn't drop off before we do. Well, I finally convinced them when we got to Central Park not to look conspicuous. We all wore tight jeans. And dirty white sneakers. And our shirts opened down to here with gold jewelry. Jessel had the jewelry hanging down the back and uncover up with medals. And we thought we might be asked to entertain, so Henny Youngman brought his violin. And Rudy Valley brought along the megaphone. And an orchestration of Vagabond Mother that was arranged for him by John Philip Sousa's father. And with that open shirt, I didn't want to catch cold, so I wore my buckskin vest that Daniel Boone gave me for my bar mitzvah. When we got to the concert, the kids took a look at us. It's the first time we ever got a laugh without saying it. We didn't belong to that concert. We didn't belong to Central Park. The park looked beautiful, full of flowers, and the forest looked like we hadn't been watered in 60 years. But you never saw such an audience. They screamed and they hollered and they stood on their chairs and they danced up and down. Yeah, that went on for 2 hours. And then the concert started. After the concert, when we left, we were tired before, so we sat down on the grass. That took about 20 minutes. And Rudy Valley never made it. The jeans were too tight. And I heard that the kids were smoking grass at these concerts, so I thought I'd try it. I pulled out a handful of grass. And when I lit it, it was nothing. But the fertilizer was murder. And then Henny Youngman started to play the violin, and Rudy Valley and Jess and myself got on our lines. We were really sweet. We're right in the middle of the second chorus of My Sweet Little Alice moved down when the police came. And one cop says, what's going on here? What have you been drinking? I said, prune juice on the rocks. He said, well, you better break it up before it gets dark. You better get out of here. I said, we're officers, it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't get dark until 8. You still got 4 hours. He said, by the looks of this group, it'll take you that long to get out. Well, we broke it up and he was wrong. It took us longer. We had to go back and we got Jessel. Couldn't get up, those metals are very heavy. No new song. No, here's 2 new songs. They're about 80 years old, and they were written by a piano player called the Candy Kid. He worked for a house of the repute in San Francisco. And late at night when the girls got to working, they'd sit in the parlor and sing these songs. The reason I know these songs is my sister Goldie taught them to me. All right, San Francisco. I guess I'll take the train back home. There's no more sights here left for me to see. I've wined and dined and gazed on bill of fares till mother's homemade pies look good to me. San Francisco is a grand old place. When I get back, I'll never live alone. Tell those ticket cars to wait and open up that golden gate. I'm going to take the train back home to San Francisco. I'm going to take the train back home to Powell, to see the ferry building, to wave to Oakland, to eat at Fisher's Wharf, to visit Sausalito, to go to Pinocchio's. Took me so long to finish the song, I just missed the train back home. This is a sad song, so when you cry, hold it down, because I don't want you to miss the lyrics. Okay. A sweet young girl was jilted by her husband. He left her and he went his very way. With tearful eyes, she wrote a final letter, in which her broken heart had this to say: I'm returning every present that you gave me. I'm sending back each letter that you wrote. Every sweet memento that we cherish. The locket that I wore around my throat. Be close to find the mortgage on the house, dear. That'll pay your life that lives true. I'm returning everything except the baby. That's the one thing that I didn't get from you. Was that sad? By the way, let's clear this up. My sister told me he did not work in the house of the She owned it. You know, everybody says to me, George, when are you going to retire? But I'm never going to retire. And what other business can a man my age walk out on the stage, smoke a cigar, sing a few songs, tell some jokes, and use the same color lipstick that Dolores Del Rio uses? Retire. You know, there's a law in this country. You're supposed to retire when you're 70. When I was 70, I had pimples. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do, I get a newspaper and I read the obituary column. My name isn't in it, I have records. The day I see my name in it, I'll sell that records. I'm not leaving on an empty stomach. Let me tell you something. When you get to be my age, the most important thing is to get out of bed. I found out I can't make a nickel of bed. You know, Al Jolson had a theory about retirement. Not his retirement, but he wanted all the other actors to retire, so he'd be the only one left in show business. He was a very strange man. Do you know that he never allowed himself to be seen with any of the other big successful stars? He only got around with actors who had no talent. I was one of his closest friends. And that singing style of his, he found it by accident. One night before the show, he was eating in Lindy's restaurant on Broadway, and he had a double order of vegetables and sour cream, which consists of radishes, cucumbers, and onions. And that night on the stage, when he sang April Showers, he got a stomach. And he sang, Though April Showers Hold. May come your way. And the audience loved it. And that was just on the radishes and cucumbers. And when the onions hit him, he fell down on one knee, stayed there, finished the song, and turned out to be I introduced the song in 1905, and I predicted then it would be visual. And I'll keep singing it until it is. Okay, Grizzly Bear. Out in San Francisco, where the weather's fair, they got a dance out there that's called the Grizzly Bear. All your other lover dances don't compare. The kind of spoony, ambulance, and groomy, Talk about the bands that Teddy Roosevelt shot. They don't compare with what old San Francisco's got. Come on, honey-do, let me show you the dance called the Grizzly Bear. I was sitting on the plane and right across the aisle in the magazine, right across the aisle from me was this beautiful girl. She had on see-through blouse. Well, this blouse made me kind of nervous. Every time I looked over there, I got a feeling that they were looking back at me. And when we flew over the airport, I'm not sure, but I think one of them went that way. You know, that nudity today means absolutely nothing. You know, you go to see some shows in New York City and all the actors on the stage are naked. Go to see a picture show and men and women get naked. That's not my kind of show business. I'd catch cold if I smoked a cigar without a hole around it. If I got in bed with a naked girl, she better be able to sing harmony. And the only thing I take off is my right sock. I'm at the age now, the only thing that still works is my right foot. And you know, I don't know why they're making such a fuss over it. There isn't a day goes by that all of us don't take our clothes off. When I go to bed and get undressed at night, you know, to go to bed, what am I supposed to do? Stand in front of the mirror and applaud myself for my minutes? I think 15 minutes is plenty. The beautiful young girl at 19 came up on stage and she had absolutely nothing on. And she sang on a clear day and sing forever. I never went back there again. The soup was ice cold. You know, when I was young, things were different. I remember playing the Chicago World's Fair. I was on the bill with Sally Rand. And she was supposed to be very naughty. Nothing. She had on flesh-colored leotards. The lights on the stage were dark, and you could hardly see her. And when she did that famous fan dance, those fans were so big they covered completely, and that was it. In fact, she got sick one night, it took her place, and nobody knew it. Here's a song that was written by Early Caesar, Buddy the Silver, and George Bush, and I think this might be a good opening song. This was written right after World War I. Okay?
Down the alley. dust of roses said to me, what do you declare? I answered, Yankee Doodle. That melody that keeps ringing in my ear, Yankee Doodle. That's so patriotic I can't finish. You ever have one of those nights that every time you open your mouth you say the wrong thing? Well, it happened to me at Vincent Price's house. He gave a party one night, about 400 people. Anytime you put 400 people into a room that can only hold 60, you gotta be into it. And Vincent Price is an art collector. His walls were all covered with priceless paintings. And when he showed me around, I thought I'd have a little fun with him. And I pointed to one painting that I knew was a rare old masterpiece, and I said, that's a cute painting. The kid who did that is gone places. Vincent didn't think it was funny. He said, the kid is going places. That's a Rembrandt. He came and went. I said, oh, sorry I missed him. What time did he leave? Well, Vincent slowly pulled out of my breast pocket and poured a drink into it. And not only did he get a laugh, but he ruined 3 of my cigars. Then I went over to the bar to get myself a martini, and Frank Sinatra was at the bar having a drink. I said, Frank, this is one of those magical moments in show business. Here we are drinking at the same bar together, 2 of America's great singers. He never looked at me. When he backed away, he deliberately bumped into my elbow and I poured the martini down the front of him. By now I was pretty soggy. But I was sitting at a very nice table, and my dinner partner was Shirley MacLaine. And at the same table were the Walter Manthows and the Jack Lemmons. And Don Rickles came over and told Shirley that he dreamt about her last night, thanked her for an exciting evening and left. And she turned to me, she said, George, I had the same dream last night. Rickles, nothing. I walked out in the middle of it. He looked like he had 3 heads. All I saw was the back of his neck, but I think he was smiling. And she had to do the leading. I guess when he danced very couldn't see because he ran into the wall. And the orchestra was playing a wild rock number and having me through the walls. I guess when he danced with her, he not only couldn't see, couldn't hear. Burt Reynolds was there, and all the girls were trying to date him. And somebody told me he was out for 3 or 4 girls a night. I wouldn't do that for a woman. All kinds of things that I couldn't do. I'm lucky if I can hold on to my hair when the wind is blowing. But I kind of felt sorry for the kid. I'd been around a lot of years, so I thought I'd do a little series of advice. And I said, wait, keep running around with me, you're not going to last. Why don't you do what I do for a change when you go to bed, have a bowl of hot soup? He poured his drink down my collar. When I danced with Josh, I got more at it, take very small steps. By now my pants were shrinking. After the dance, I said to Josh, that's a beautiful move that you got in the belt buckle. Turned out to be the cherry from Red Brown's cocktail. To make matters worse, when I drove home, a policeman stopped me. I said, officer, what did I do? He said, nothing. I smelled you going by. I said, you won't believe my story. I just came from a party and Vincent Price and Frank Sinatra. But I told my wife everything. She sees all your movies. She listens to you on the talk show. She's crazy about you. I said, good. Maybe she'd like my autograph. She said, why did she love it? Put it right here on this ticket. You see, I've had better nights. Well, here's my opening song. Hold on to your seat. This is it. Okay, let's go. Augustus J. McCann was a big married man. He has been fighting with his wife since married life began. I wish I was sitting out there. I'd love to hear this. One night at 3:30, while out on Palm Spring, I'm over and up and down and
One guy looked down and said, I think this bloke is dead. But when he said, let's take him home, there he walked. McCann jumped up and said, behind the door, take me home. Don't take me home. Oh, tell me, what did I do to you? Oh, have a little pity, I'm a very man. Say love peace, I know. I'm a dude, most anything, so please don't take me. I'm not going, can't make me, it's not safe. Please, don't take me. When I first came out, I said, all you need is a good opening song and a good finish. Well, you just heard my great opening. Now this is my great finish. You've been a charming audience and I had a wonderful time. Thank you very, very much. I love you. Here's a song I sang a lot of silly songs I'd like to sing you. Written by Marvin Mathis and Tim Rice. And this song tells you exactly the way I feel. Let's do it. Like people everywhere, I've had to wear a tan. While I shop the Western world, I don't even care. But it's the only way to go. It's the only dream I know. I'm content just to be complicated me. So don't be anything but what you get and what you see. I'm the only man you'll find who has nothing on his mind. So please play it in my key. Watch my dreamy finger reel. Oh no, please, don't go. I want to tell you how happy I feel. I've got nothing much to lose, I never get through. When you've been around as long as me, then everything's good. But it's the only way it goes. It's the only dream I know. Play it in my key. Watch my dreamy finger reel. Oh no, please, don't go. I want to tell you how happy I feel. We'll be happy till we die. I'll be free tonight. Relaxing with my taste to the station and the ride. But it's the only way it goes. It's the only dream I know. It's the only way to go. I didn't expect that.
On behalf of the Sisters of Mercy, the employees and medical staff of Mercy Health Center, it's my honor to present you the Ethel McCauley Sisters of Mercy Award.
Thank you very, very much. see you all again in 53 years.
Tell these folks the wonderful things you've done down through the years. But, you know, you've done so many wonderful things. And you live so long, we just don't have time to sit down all day.
Okay, I'm going to stay around for a long time. This is all out of my album. I must say, if I don't do it, well, excuse me, I've never done this before on stage. So I wish I was able to be there myself. At a bar down in Dallas, an old man chimed in, and I thought he was out of his head. Just being a young man, I just laughed it off when I heard what that old man said. He said, I'll never again turn the young ladies' heads. Go running off into the wind. I'm 3/4 home from the start to the end, and I wish I was 18. I wish I was 18 and going where I never been. But all lost, ain't no loss, standing tall, just pretend. I wish I was 18 again. Now time turns to vengeance, and oh, life goes so fast. Years turn to black hair or gray. I talk to some young folks, hey, they don't understand the words this old man got to say. I wish I was 18 again, and going where I never been. But all lost and all lost, standing tall, just pretend. I wish I was 18 again. Lord, I wish I was 18 again.
Gentlemen, we thank you for a beautiful, beautiful. We thank